my name's Ryan, and I'm the developer of Custom Home Mapper, which is a game that uses the scene understanding, the placement of the walls and objects in your room to generate new environments and allow you to play games that give you the freedom to move around. When I released this way back in 2020 and had all these different games which can transform your home, one of the biggest pieces of feedback I had from my users was that they wanted the ability to be able to control what they see in their environment. And that's why I made this app right here, the home building tool. So what I plan to do here is just a series of quick videos giving you an overview of what you can do in the app. When you first load in, it'll show you your space and it'll unveil the first set of transformations, which is just, it'll replace your wall with a new wallpaper. The cubes that you have set up are being used right now for occlusion, so you can see the real objects, virtual wallpaper. And what I want to do, just for the sake of this tutorial series, is we're going to try to do like a wood cabin themed apartment by adding new objects to the space and also replacing some of the real objects with a virtual themed object that fits the same dimensions. So wood cabin in the mountains is what we're going for. And I'm just going to start this series with an overview of the new console that's going to spawn. And this is the main tool that you'll use for designing your space. We'll be adding objects to the space and really refining it beyond this basic starter point. So here's the tools. There are some tutorials kind of built in that'll explain some of the information that I'm going to explain in these videos. But for now, we're going to go through these 4 menus as this is the kind of the main overview of stuff. And we're going to start just with edit walls, as that's perhaps the most obvious menu to start with. We've already seen that it's doing the job of giving you a new wallpaper. So if we wanted to choose a wallpaper for our wood-themed cabin, we can go into the wall texture, and this is, you'll see this quite a lot in the different menus, a selection of different textures that you can use, and you can simply select the texture and replace your wall with whatever you want. So there's science fiction themed ones and all kinds of random ones. The further you get into the menu, the more abstract you'll get. I like this plaid wallpaper sometimes, but today we want to go back to the start where I think the wood textures are. There's a brick one. I wonder what my apartment would be like with brick walls. Anyways, how about this? Nice kind of warm wood. There's a few other options. This one's not bad. What else have we got? Not too much for wood. Let's go with this guy right now. And just for the sake of it, yeah, that's one of the buttons. I'll go through in another video what we can do in terms of really refining the colors and stuff like that. But I will talk briefly about this while we're here. There's options to modify the walls. Right now, everything's just spawned in as a normal flat wall. But for the sake of it, while we're here, let's modify a wall by using the add window. And I'll talk about this a bit later when we get to spawning objects. But the main mechanic for modifying your space is to hold the grip button, which spawns an object at this spawn point. In this case, what my object is doing is it's finding the nearest wall segment, and it is creating a window frame at that area. So let's add a few window frames. Let's add one on this wall, and why not? Let's open this space all the way. Let's add a really nice big window over there. So now my space feels much more open. Let's check out another menu. SKYBOX MENU allows me a bit of a deeper level of control, adding sound effects, adjusting where the global lighting is coming from. But for right now, we're just going to go to SKYBOX. And like I said, I want to be up in the mountains, but perhaps not this high up in the mountains. So let's look through. Mossy Mountain is a good one. Yeah, that's pretty much what we want. This is nice too. There's some mountains. In fact, maybe I prefer this, the warmth of the outsides. I think we're going to go with it. Yep, I can see a mountain below me. So once I fix that floor, this should be pretty comfortable. So I've got the beginning of what was previously my apartment is now starting to feel a bit more like a wood cabin. Let's go and take a look. We'll come back to this menu later. Let's go to the Add Objects menu. Now, this is really the core of how you would construct your own design. There's some primitive objects you can build with, as well as a bunch of grouped objects. So we have seats and all kinds of particle effects, small objects, which I think contains the plants that I want to add for right now. What other kind of things do we have? Anyways, just general household objects. If you wanted to add a cup of coffee, you could place one right there and leave a virtual cup of coffee on your table. For right now, we want to do plants. So I'm going to find myself something that's a plant pot. This is, I think, a garbage pail, but for our intended purposes, let's leave a nice plant in the middle of this guy and perhaps a plant right up here by the window. And where did my small objects plants go? Yeah, there we go. Here's some leafy bits. So again, when I hold the grip button down, it's going to spawn the object right here at this spawn point. And by using the thumbstick, I can move that point a little bit away from me or towards me. But generally speaking, your placement is done manually. By pushing up on the thumbstick on this, I can make the object larger or smaller. And for right now, we'll just maybe add 2 bits of plants. One to fill the pot out a bit. Rotate it like that. That's okay. And let's go back to this one on the table. Let's put a different plant in this guy, more of a tree. Yeah, that looks nice. And that's it. For instantiating objects and placing them into the space, it's really grab to hold, place it where you want, like you're holding the object in front of you, and then let it go. Now, there's a few things we can do here in terms of options that I'll talk about later for moving things around once you've placed them or deleting them. But for right now, I'm just going to cover the basics, and that's the gist of the object menu. There's different categories of things you can use to really design whatever you want or transform your living space into something that's unique or just whatever you're feeling like at the time. Lastly, there's edit objects. So of all those objects, they can spawn with a different texture around them. In this case, when I've made my plant pots, they have a texture that is just a set of lines, like a neutral texture. And I'm in control. Whenever I create an object, I actually have a lot of different options for the texture that's used, similar to my walls when I explained earlier. If you choose, in this case, texture type 1 is this guy, I can go through a very similar set of textures and decide on a different texture that I want to use for this first slot. So let's find something that works a little bit better. That red one's nice. What about that's okay. Each object could be assigned with any texture. And so you can really create your own unique looking objects, and you can tailor the textures even more than just setting them. You can actually choose the color values and kind of set them so that there's a better blend with the real space. But again, for now, I think I'm okay with that as my plant pot. It's great. So that's the gist of what we're doing now. I'm going to go through in the next set of videos a little bit more in detail on how to use these guys, and we're going to do a lot more to build out this wood cabin theme. We'll fix these floors, and we'll add some televisions and particle effects and light sources and stuff. So stick with me for the rest of the videos, but for right now, by choosing to eject the cartridge, it's going to give me the option to save, and you want to make sure you do that in between or every now and then, just for the sake of restoring it, and you don't just turn the program off in the middle of everything. Make sure you exit the program first and take that option to save. Anyways, stay tuned for the next video.